A prototype super chase? That just sounds formidable. Like, it just sounds legit. I love it. I'm here for it. And we actually have two prototype Circus Sedans to review for this installment of Prototype Prestige, episode 20, kind of a milestone, and therefore I wanted to do a special one of my new favorites in my prototype collection, not only because it's amazing, but it's one of my favorite releases Mattel has done in the 2010s. Of course, maybe you guys have seen some of my videos on it, but I had this Disney World trip one time and I did a whole hunt video on it, but I found like 7 Circus Sedans at Disney World across the resort, whether it be at some of the parks or the hotels. Like literally every store that had cars got in that case at that time. So it just worked out perfectly. And that's how Disney World works. You won't go to like store to store and find different cases. Like everywhere has the same case. So, you know, you're in luck if it's a good case, because then, you know, I don't know, let's say it's case J of 2023. You'll get West Philampus. Maybe you don't find West Philampus at one store. You'll find it then at the next store, because there's so many opportunities. And that's literally what happened at this time and place. They had a bunch of other cases for Circus Sedan that also had Miles Axelrod with the microphone. It was a really fun case, especially with a super chase that is limited to 1,000 pieces. So got pretty lucky. Actually, it's 4,000 pieces, my bad. But yeah, recently was able to acquire this prototype that, man, I've been kind of after for a while. Like, I've seen pictures of it, and I finally was able to snag one. I just love the color it's got going, a nice teal turquoise and a bright cherry red base. And I also have this a much more complete prototype of Circus Sedan that has some writing on the hood that we'll get to later on. But I just want to focus on the main attraction in today's video, which is the, you know, full raw prototype here. And yeah, you can tell that this is a prototype for Circus Sedan because of the mouth. If you guys recall, Andy Vaporlock has the same model for the most part, but has a completely different mouth there. And therefore, yeah, this therefore is lots of therefores, but by process of elimination, it is Circus Sedan. Yeah, you got the lipstick and the clown-like mouth. But yeah, you got the headlights there and the grill very flat because it is supposed to be kind of silly. It's not supposed to be really a real car. Like, this is all kind of like makeup and whatnot. So I understand why it's not a like slatted grill like Andy Vaporlock has, even though that's a decal. The slats and the slits aren't necessarily engraved into the metal, is what I'm trying to say. You do have the side view mirrors, and on the prototype, they're a nice kind of orangish beige color. He's got gray tires, which is very interesting. Don't really see that color too much. But yeah, you could tell that they had some paint issues with this prototype. Like, I've seen prototypes where the paint's been applied much more cleanly. Here, it's very bubbly. Like, you could see a lot of, like, almost acne for paint, right? I mean, a lot of bubbles throughout and chips, of course, resulting from that. Gives a lot of character, though. Like, it just, you know, I always say this, but I really do mean it. Like, I don't mind beat-up prototypes because you got character. Now, granted, I would probably not like one that's completely bashed and smashed, which I've seen before. Like, something in the mid-ground like this here is just really nice, really eclectic. But yeah, definitely some paint issues for sure, like some of the other prototypes that we've seen. Like, here, I'll just take one off of the little pedestal up here. Lewis Hamilton, I mean, the paint is literally perfect on this prototype, even though it's not even remotely close to what the color should be on Lewis Hamilton. It's a kind of like really nice shade of purple. But yeah, so interesting how stuff changes like that. But hey, I mean, that is the purpose of a prototype, to test out what works and what doesn't work. And the paint on Circus Sedan is pretty interesting because he does have a matte finish for the orange here on the roof. Everything else is your typical glossy finish, but the roof is a little different. So maybe they were trying to figure that out and whatnot. But yeah, I really wonder why they struggled so much with the paint there. I love Circus Sedan so much. Just because I found so many, it felt like I was bonded with Circus Sedan on an entirely new level. I also just love the dirt detailing they gave the sides of him, which they did not have to do at all, right? I mean, I don't think you ever see the sides of Circus Sedan in the movie as it is. And even if you did, it's not like they had to do this. I don't think they gave any of the other circus cars dirt detailing in the 2015 lineup. So Definitely is part of the reason why it's my favorite circus car from the troupe, and it's one of my favorite super chases altogether. The license plate here is 47M4U, which is a common license plate number that they've actually given many cars. That's not a good thing, but it just happens to be a thing. But yeah, you can see the license plate holder very faintly because it is a part of the model. It's raised up a little bit, and you can see all the lining for the taillights and the trunk and whatnot. Let's see if we could read the text above for the 7. Yep, it's dipstick, which is a common, again, very common to see dipstick on the license plates for the county or whatever. We know that's not a state, right? But it's some sort of region. But yeah, really cool. I love this teal color. I love the gray tires and, of course, the cherry red base, which, interesting enough, doesn't have any text. Like, a lot of the prototypes that we've been reviewing lately have text on the base, and it's similar, if not the same, maybe a little bit different from what you got on the finalized version. But here on Circus Sedan, it is completely blank. It's super rare to see that, especially on a release in the era of the 2010s, right? I mean, some of the 2007 cars had barely any writing on the base, but once you got to like 2011, there was a lot more. Like, here's what the finalized version has: Mattel, the address, the product code, Disney Pixar made in China, and the date stamp. Let's see when mine was made. It looks a little smeary. Looks like, is that 005? I can't quite tell. Either way, it's some day on the year of 2015. I actually got this particular Circus Sedan from a Chinese eBay seller ahead of time, and that's why he's got this little chip right here. It's kind of funny, as if like I thought I would ever have trouble finding this one. But I really got lucky. I just happened to be in Disney World at the right time. It was a completely different year, though. It was January of 2016 when I went on that spree. It was not even close to when the car was actually released, or the case was, which was about August of 2015 when Circus Sedan was released. And it's actually kind of funny. There are only 2 cars that used this model, this and Andy Vaporlock, both of which came out within like a 6 to 7 month span. Andy Vaporlock coming out in January of 2016, yes. And so, yeah, August to January, both of them. And then they never used that model again. And obviously they haven't really had to, but I think there are some other cars in the Cars movie that do share this kind of very unique model sedan, where it starts off kind of narrow and then gets a little bit broader at the front. And yeah, very squared off. Super unique model. I love it. But yeah, that is this prototype. And then you have the completed one here that has some text on the hood. Let's see if there are any differences at all. Looks like the eyes might be a little bit lower, but it's not really a big deal. Oh yeah, you got a lot of differences in the dirt detailing here. Looks like they added a lot more on it, and they made it a little bit less splotchy and a little bit more streaky. Everything else, though, looks pretty much the same. Let's see about the base, though. Yep, everything minus the date stamp. And let's take a look at what was written here. So you have the product code CJM46 on top there, which, as you can see, yep, that is the product code. Looks like maybe Chinese writing there in the center. Not really sure what that says. If you know, let me know if you have any guesses. And then probably the day that this was made, so March 11th of 2015. I don't think it's November 3rd, because that would be way too late, right? This is definitely March 11th of 2015. Really cool. Really love that. And obviously, you can make the claim, you know, for all you pessimists out there, hey, I could have just written on my Circus Sedan the fake prototype. Yes, you can. But like we just went over, there's no date stamp. And I know you're going to say you could remove a date stamp or somehow you could paint over it. Yeah, I don't think that one was tampered with. The dirt detailing is different. And if you take a very, very rare, expensive Circus Sedan, write on it with the hopes that you'll be able to trick somebody, I mean, that's a big risk you're taking. You could be out a lot of money if you were to do that. I can maybe see you doing it on a Lightning McQueen. That only costs you $3 at the store, but I think a lot more people would wise up to that. It all is very circumstantial. It's a lot of feel. I know it sounds weird, but when I try and explain to people how to determine if a prototype is real or not, it literally a lot comes down to the feel. Just the vibes you're getting. Like, who are you buying it from? Where are you buying it from? Are they trusted? Are they reliable? How does it look? Does it look kind of fake? Do you feel doubt? Like, it has a lot of those factors that come into it, but if you have been around the hobby for a little bit, you kind of just know like that immediately if it's fake or not. And if it's a scam, which I have seen a lot of scam prototypes as well. Hell, I have even been scammed by one. Hey, I mean, what the hell? It happens, right? But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you as always for watching one of my favorite new prototypes in the collection here. After, of course, the Karyusu one, a lot older in terms of when I added it to my collection. This one was in the last 365 days. All right, guys, thank you as always. Bye now.